We have big MLB news today. We have a lot of different news to talk about. We have Max Scherzer signing with the New York Mets, Robbie Ray to the Seattle Mariners, Corey Seager to the Texas Rangers, and a big trade between the Miami Marlins and the Pittsburgh Pirates with Jacob Stallings. That's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. But before I get into this video, 85% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. And that's dumb because there's great baseball content on this channel throughout the post or throughout the off season. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like on this video. And let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's start off with Max Scherzer and the New York Mets. So this deal is for 3 years, $130 million, which will be for $43 million per year. Scherzer had a great 2021, but this is a guy who's 37 years old. And the Dodgers had a very bad day today. This was not a good day to be a Dodgers fan. You lost Scherzer and Seager in the same day. Not a good day to be a Dodgers fan. But in 2021, between the Nationals and the Dodgers, he pitched to a 15-4 record with a 2.46 ERA in 30 games started, 179 innings pitched, 236 strikeouts, 0.86 WHIP. Now his arm was fatigued towards the end of the season, which was the playoffs for the Dodgers. So that's something to note there. But he's had a career 3.16 ERA and has shown no signs of slowing down yet. So it makes a ton of sense to bring him in. And it's a great move for the New York Mets, who have lacked a big move like this for a long, long time. In the Brody bandwagon, all those eras that they had, they never spent money like this. And bringing in Max Scherzer is a great, great move for this team. This is a great move. Yes, $43 million for a guy that pitches every 5 days is a lot of money for sure. And we saw how Francisco Lindor did in the lights of New York. But Scherzer was in a very big market in LA, and it didn't hurt him any. He only got better. So yeah, this is a really, really great move for them. They need one more starting pitcher, and they're really a dangerous team. And I don't know who that starting pitcher is. Kershaw's still out there. I doubt they bring him in. Somebody like Alex Cobb seems the most realistic to me. They've got the lineup that looks really solid. And it's just about getting players to perform because they haven't had that in the last couple of years. And that's really the main thing here. Is getting those players to perform. And, just getting those players to perform is going to be a big key to their success in 2021. A very great move. If I'm grading this move, it's an A-. There's still some risk as far as injury and stuff with the Mets. But we know the Mets have always underperformed and stuff, so we'll really have to see how they do. Let's go ahead to the other guy that left the Dodgers today, and that's going to be Corey Seager heading out to Texas to the Rangers. The Rangers are making some big moves. They have spent over $500 million in just two players, and just about less than 24 hours. They've spent a ton of money here in the last in the last little bit, and I think that this money is a lot better. Corey Seager just got 10 years, $325 million. Now, I know there's a lot of injury risk here, but Corey Seager is the guy to spend the money on. Now, with 10 years, $325 million, that makes me the question of how much is Correa going to get if Seager is already getting $325 million over 10 years? This is going to lead him into his 37-year-old season. He's 27 right now. He'll be 37 at the end of this contract. He was the 2012 first-round pick by the Dodgers, and when he's been healthy, he's been one of the best players in baseball. 2021, 306 batting average, 16 home runs, 57 RBIs, 394 on base percentage, a 521 slugging, and a 915 OPS. Now, Corey Seager just needs to stay healthy. That's the main thing. Just like Byron Buxton, he's one of the best players in baseball when healthy. He's just got to stay healthy, and this is a really good really good player. So that's going to be about $32 million per year for the Rangers, and they're spending a lot of money this free agency. They've got John Gray, they've got Marcus Semien, they've got now Corey Seager and Cole Calhoun. So their lineup actually looks really solid now, as far as like 2, 3, 4 with Semien, Seager, and Adolis Garcia. Their lineup's looking pretty solid right now. I think they need to focus towards getting maybe another pitcher or something. Maybe trying to bring in somebody like a Clayton Kershaw, I think would be a very good idea. You already brought in John Gray, who I think definitely could be a number one in this rotation. But realistically, if you're wanting a title team, he's not the number one in that rotation. It's simple. He's the number 2 or number 3 in that rotation. He's not the number 1 in that rotation. But bringing in somebody like Kershaw would be really good to finalize off their offseason. They've got a ton of money to spend. Bringing in Seager is a great, great addition. But this still doesn't put them as a team that's going to win the AL West next year or even be a competitor for the World Series, even close next year. They're still a ways away. And this move is kind of interesting to me because now that you've got Semien and Seager locked up long term, what do you do with prospects like Justin Foscue? Is he used in a trade or something? Because you just drafted him back in 2020, and there's not really much of a spot for him right now. It's pretty simple. They don't have a spot for him. He's a second baseman really. And Semien's got that locked up. Unless he's a designated hitter, then Foscue could be on his way out for a bigger package. Now they could look at somebody via trade as far as the starting pitchers, whether that is Tyler Mahle, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, some of those guys they could look to trade for. But I like that the Rangers are spending money. It is nice to see a team like this that struggled immensely last year to finally start doing something. They were 60-102 last year. We expect them to be improved in 2022. Now let's head over to Robbie Ray and the Seattle Mariners. Robbie Ray has signed a 5-year, $115 million deal with the Seattle Mariners. This kind of came out of nowhere for me, at least. I didn't expect Ray to sign today. I can tell you that. But Ray did sign today. And he signed with Seattle Mariners, which for me was a little bit, quite a bit of a surprise, to be honest. Now, for the Mariners, they're making some great moves already this offseason. I think they have had a great offseason already. You've got Robbie Ray to bring into this rotation that looks pretty solid on paper for next year. Logan Gilbert, Justin Dunn, Chris Flexen, Marco Gonzalez, and now Robbie Ray leading the rotation. Now, I am a little skeptical about Robbie Ray. Is he going to perform like he did last year in that just small sample size? I mean, not in a small sample size, but is he going to perform like that again this year? The bullpen was great last year. You had Steckenrider, you had Sewald, you had Castillo, Casey Salder even was really good last year. And the lineup even looks pretty solid on paper. Adam Frazier, you brought him in from the San Diego Padres. This is really a team that is shaping up to be what I think as a big surprise next year, and could be a wild card team next year. He's 30 years old right now. This will be a 5-year contract, so it'll only be 35 years old by the end of this contract. 2021, he was 13-7 with a 2.84 ERA, 32 starts, 193 innings pitched, 248 strikeouts, and a 1.04 WHIP. He relies on 5 pitches: his four-seam fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and sinker. Some similar pitchers are 2022 Rick Skubal, 2021 Blake Snell. Pitchers like that are very in comparison to Robbie Ray, and I think that this is a very solid move, bringing Robbie Ray in. I think that it's a great move, and I think that maybe you look to bring maybe another starter in, but I still think you're looking really good right now. Maybe you bring back Kikuchi or something, but this team looks really good on paper right now, and I mean, not really good, but they're looking very solid. Will Kyle Lewis rebound next year? They could definitely use a rebound season from him. And Jared Kelenic should be even better next year. Next up and final thing, we're going to talk about the Marlins and the Pirates making a trade for Jacob Stallings. The Marlins made a trade for Jacob Stallings. I think this is not a very good move, to be honest. I would have preferred them get somebody like an Alejandro Kirk or somebody younger like that. I just think bringing in an older Jacob Stallings doesn't really help their services any. He's 31 years old. I don't think that this is the right place for him. He had a 246 average with 8 home runs and 53 RBIs in 2021, and a 246 batting average, 335 on base, 369 slugging, and a 704 OPS. He's not been that great over his career, too. He really had one solid season, and now he's getting hyped up a lot. But this guy only really had one good season, and that's why the Marlins didn't have to give up as much back for him, because he's not proved that for multiple years. He's proved it for 1 year. And I just don't think that this is as great of a move as some people would like to think. I think a Wilson Contreras even makes more sense for the Miami Marlins. But this is an improvement for the Marlins. They had to give up Zach Thompson and a couple other prospects who, I mean, I would probably rather have the Jacob Stallings, who really just doesn't fit in with either of these teams, to be honest. He's like an 8-hitter. I mean, it just really isn't that great of a move to me. I think it's an upgrade definitely from Jorge Alfaro, but still, it's not a great move. Like, it's a solid move, but it's not something that elevates them to a decent team at all. Like, they're still a bad team. And I like that they're making trades, spending money with Avisel Garcia, Jacob Stallings, guys like that, and even bringing back Sandy Alcantara on an extension still. But, I mean, I still just don't really understand this trade. A guy that's 31 years old, and it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But yeah, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications, because like I said, if you want great baseball content throughout the offseason, make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.